May profits be upon you. We are going to go over the uh, the weekly forex forecast for the FX pairs that I put out last Sunday. Oh, right. Did I put it out last? Yeah, last Saturday actually. Uh, I posted it last Saturday evening. So we're just gonna look at look how accurate the analysis was and how things ended up. All right, starting with the euro. All right, the euro, and again, let me make sure you understand. I'm looking at euro. I mean, I'm looking at the futures, right? But this is when you trade the futures on the spot, they're weighted against the U.S. dollar. So essentially, you are looking at the euro USD. You're looking at pound USD. You're looking at New Zealand dollar USD, Aussie USD, and then you're also looking at CAD USD as opposed to USD CAD. You're looking at USD Swiss. I mean, you're looking at Swiss, the Swiss franc USD as opposed to the USD Swiss, and that also applies to the yen. You're looking at Japanese yen versus USD. The Japanese yen against the USD versus the USD against the yen. So you have to look at those last three I mentioned uh, in the inverse, in the mirror image. You understand? But I'll clarify as I go along. We're going to start with the Euro USD, and I just want to point out what I got right, what I might have got wrong. All right, I got right. We reached our target. All right, the target was this swing high here at 1.0903, and we hit it. We hit it. This was the last Friday's candle, and we went right up to it. I mean, that's what we want. That's what we wanted. All right. The deal is what I want you to know. Moving forward is this is a weak low. Why? Because in a downtrend where you have lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, you have these lower lows are inherently weak because the job of a low is to make a new high. If it doesn't make a new high, then it becomes the target of liquidity. The same thing in the applies to the opposite. If we have an uptrend where you have higher highs, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, the highs are the weak uh, component of this uptrend. And when you have weak highs, because the only job of a high is to make a new low, if it doesn't break that former low, that previous low, it's not doing its job. Then it becomes weak and becomes a target, and it gets liquidated. You understand? That's the way this works. All right. So I do think that price will eventually uh, turn down and take that weak low because this high, the swing high here, really didn't make a new low here. It didn't break that low. So I think this is a pullback until it breaks that high. If it breaks that high, then we have a break of structure, and that changes the rule. We are now bullish. Up until this point, we are still bearish because we are in a downtrend with lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. This here could change everything. This could signal the change. We may come up here and get a swing failure and never break that high, but I do believe that we are going to take that low and come towards here. All right, maybe we're turning around. Who knows? This could be, it could be a reversal. Whenever I see a low not taken, it usually ends up doing something like that. So we'll see. We'll see. We could thrash about sideways. I don't know. We're going to find out. Anyway, we were right on that. Let's move on to the pound. All right. And with the pound, we were looking at a similar situation where the swing high was taken, and the swing high was taken. Would be what we were looking to see if the swing high would be taken. So we did, and we hit our mark. Price traded through that swing high, and this is what makes it a little different than the euro. Price didn't just wick through and just take the liquidity, it actually traded through, which indicates bullishness. So I'm looking for price to pull back at any point because we broke a swing high. All right. And you look for pullbacks after that. And we have a fair value gap already ready for a price to seek higher prices from should it come back and and test that this swing. I mean, test this fair value gap. We're looking forward to. I'm looking forward to get higher from there. All right, we're gonna see. But I like where this is placed. I think this. I think we're just going to see high prices here with the pound. Cable is strong. Okay. Next, oops, I didn't even do that. Next one is Aussie dollar. Come on. Where are you? There you go. Same deal. I gave some really a little extended analysis in the weekly forex forecast, and we're looking at the weekly, and you can see that this was the goal. This was the target, and we did reach that. So that's why we have this check mark here. But there was something else I was looking at. I want you to also see on the weekly, we do have a, a fair value gap that's already sitting there, ready for price to come back to and continue higher. Doesn't necessarily have to start that pullback yet. It may start the pullback once it reaches the bearish fair value gap up here, right? We reached it. Yeah, well, so we can see a pullback into the bullish fair value gap and higher prices to continue. So, and that's what I'm looking for. Uh, there is a chance because we have relative equal lows down here that could be a big draw on price, but we have a bearish uh, price structure here, right? But that this swing low didn't take out the previous swing low, and we are making our way up. We have an internal break of structure here. We traded through and closed above this previous swing high here, and this is the major swing high, and we're heading up towards it. Could price, if I see price give us a bearish engulfer at this bearish fair value gap up here, then I'll know that this pullback is done, it's ended, and that we may be on our way down to look at these relative equal lows down here. I hope you were able to keep up with all of that mess I just said. Anyway, we moved sideways here for a long time. This is the daily time frame I just switched to, and I did move. I want you to see that the low the last bullish fair value gap is down here on the daily. All right. And we could see price push down, sweeping these lows. And then we can see the spring off. Understand that on the weekly, this daily is overlapping the weekly. So I'm looking for this to happen. All right. I want you to see that we had this target here. This was a low resistance liquidity run over here as we had the original target uh, of that high being broken here. This is a swing high, a minor swing high. All right. But we had the resistance, low liquidity, uh, low resistance liquidity run. I'm sorry. And we did manage with this wick to take that out. So we did actually hit two targets, which is cool. But I just want you to know, just it's important to see that the analysis was accurate. Okay, and I gave you. We'll see. We'll see if we get priced. If this fair value gap holds, it must hold in order for that bullish scenario to play out, where we come back for these highs. If it doesn't hold, if it fails here, and we get price starting to give bearish fair value gaps as it breaks this bullish fair value gap, then we're coming towards those relative equal lows down at the bottom. All right, giving you something to look out for. All right, on the next one, okay, New Zealand dollar. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Oh, yeah, that's it, I guess. All right. This one didn't pan out as I thought because this was the Friday candle, right? And I said that we'll probably take this high, and we I mean we took the high, we took this high on Friday, just barely making it. So uh, we were expecting, I was expecting a pullback to that, the Thursday high here. All right, I was looking for price to come and test that, and then quite possibly continue higher because there's no bullish fair value gaps here. All right, there's one here, so I was thinking, it may come all the way back down here before it goes up higher. Well, it did come all the way back down here. All right, but uh, it really went to the limit of this fair value gap. It's still holding technically. All right. And if this doesn't flip bullish and start to fill this wick, all right, and that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. Because when you see wicks like this that take up, when the wick is as big as it is, when it's double the size of the body, usually the next candle or two will fill that wick. All right, unless it's at a peak high or a swing high or a swing low, unless it's unless it's topping a trend. It's even a near term trend, like a you know uh, an uptrend or a downtrend. When you see the opposite wick going the other way, when the wick is at the bottom and the body's at the top. All right. When I see this, if I see this at the top of here, then at the top of a bullish run, a bullish impulse, then I'm thinking, okay, there's a good chance that we're going to see lower prices. When it's in the middle of it, I'm thinking this wick is going to get filled, and we'll be on our way back up to the top here. But this becomes the immediate target, the swing high, and then we'll go to this fair value gap. All right, we'll see if the fair value gap holds. This fair value gap gives us something. If it folds, then we're going to see price heading towards those highs. But that's far and away. We got some immediate targets to look at right now. Okay. All right, but that's where I'm at on that. All right, so we're going to keep an eye on this. I'm looking for price to go higher. I'm looking for price. I'm not expecting it, but I'm looking for price to go higher to fill that wick. I hope that's understandable. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comment section. But this is an interesting one. I tell you what, this is an interesting one. This fair value gap was this big, and it's come to fill that fair value gap. We have a push higher, and then another fair value gap was created, was formed from this original one. So I am definitely looking to see how this is going to end up. Okay, so I think we're going to end up bullish. Next, uh, CAD USD. All right, this is the Canadian dollar. This is CAD. All right, I'll go to US dollar CAD next. So just hang with me for those who trade just strictly FX. All right, in CAD, I was looking at these highs. We reached those highs, but these weren't my targets. All right, these were not my targets when I went through the video, this was our Friday. No, this was our Friday candle here, right? And we had a bullish fair value gap, and because of the proximity of price, I was thinking that price would come down to the fair value gap and then continue higher. Well, it went sideways and then went higher, but it did take out targets. Did take out those targets. Bam, bam. So, but you can see it was a sweep. So, is price going to fill this wick? All right, is it going to continue to go higher? Well, I remember I was telling you in that video. Please go and watch that video. It was a pretty good breakdown. I said we want to see what price does. I want to see price break out of this range. All right, because it can stay sideways for a long time. All right, you don't know if it's bullish or bearish, but I wanted to see a strong close above or below that range. This is a sweep. That is just a raid of liquidity. All right. And then price comes back inside the range. This is starting to look like it may come up, want to test the bottom, the lower borders of this range. That's the feeling I get. I want you to pay close attention. All right. There are other markets that are better to trade. This one came back into the range. It's not the greatest thing you want to see. All right, and I also mentioned in ranges, when you start to see fair value gaps and order blocks and whatnot in ranges, they get disrespected. They're not trustworthy. You got to have other confluences uh, before you start depending on fair value gaps that are within ranges. All right, so I'm going to ask you to I'm going to, urge you to be patient with that. Now, this is USD CAD. All right. We got the same range. All right. It's just the inverse. It's in the inverse of the previous chart I was just on. All right. We want to see what price is going to do. Now, price did come down to the lower edge here and take that swing low. It rated the swing low with a wick instead of it having a strong close, and it closed back within the range, just like the opposite you saw on the previous chart. All right, and this was the previous monthly low that it took the previous week. The deal is, yeah, we got it right. All right, let's establish that. But where is price going from here? We're back in the range. I don't know. I want you to be patient with this one. This fair value gap could hold price. It's been holding. Its price is struggling to go higher from it. All right, it's been holding, but uh, we want to see a definitive close below this low. We want to see a definitive close above these highs. All right, that's what I want to see, so that I can say, "Hey, we're bullish if we're going this way, or we're bearish if we're going that way." Right now, we're coming back into the range. There's a better markets to look at, honestly. All right, if we look at the Swiss, I told you I like this one. Why did I like it? Because uh, you see this thing has gone a long way to break. Excuse me, to break structure here, a bearish break of structure. All right, so we're bearish, right? Anybody can see that, right? But the problem is you start to get patterns. All right. And I told you that what we have here is a breaker that formed. And some people took this long from this breaker, and I was one of them. All right. And then price came back. All right. Now you should not be taking a loss. If you're a swing trader, you shouldn't have taken a loss. All right. If you're a day trader, you shouldn't have taken a loss. All right. You should have come out break even at the worst. All right. But you should have closed with some profit once it broke this high. All right. Sorry, this high. All right. So, but here's the deal. I think price is going to go higher. All right. A reason why I have the Fibonacci pulled, because I put the Fibonacci from swing high to swing low, and I'm looking for price to pull back right around 50%. All right. I'm looking OTE area is up here. All right, at the 618 and 786. Right. I'm looking for a price